Hey there, welcome to another episode of Enmity Podcast. This is going to be episode 20, and we are glad to bring you the guild master from that we were talking about with Anastasia last night. The Red Mist Fighter Wing guild master is here, Bettyknight, to talk to us about a little bit about his guild, what they do to help the community out, and yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started with that. Other than that, we have your panel, Big, Talons, Ignitia, and me, Raging Rondo. We are brought to you by UltraSabers.com. Check that out. Super cool lightsabers. They sound cool. You can get them at our website, www.42gaming. In the top left-hand corner where it says Ultra Sabers, click there, get your awesome lightsaber, and help out the cast while you're at it.
Sponsor for the week is Gazelle. What they allow you to do is you go out to their website, and if you have any old electronics, tablets, phones that you don't need anymore, they'll actually send you some money for that. So what you do is you go out to their website, you price out the item. If you like the price, they'll send you a box, and you just mail it back to them. Once they check it out and make sure it's good, you get the money. They also have a cool referral program where if you sign up, you can actually refer your friends, and once they sign in their item, um, you can actually get a $15 gift card. So head out to 42gaming.com/gazelle.
Nice. Giving away your old unused stuff because I know I have a bunch of stuff laying around, and you can help us out while you're at it. All right. So Bettyknight, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. Thank you guys for asking me to come on program here. I'm really excited about it. Glad to answer any questions, and I'm just glad to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
How much do I have to
Talon.
pay you to not kill me anymore? You know.
Yeah. I promise I will not shoot anybody as long as this podcast is going on.
Okay, so
All right,
Sid,
I'll
you get
take
that.
that.
As long as this podcast is still running on a weekly basis, he won't kill us. Is that what I just heard?
You did. You did. Yeah, I will be nice, I promise.
I would love to believe you. I really would. But as long as you're running with Draco, Lich, and Anastasia, I think that they could just look at me and I would die. So those are some good guys to have over on your team when you're playing GSF. And I notice you guys do that a lot. Is so. Let me get this straight. I know last week it was sort of covered. You guys are a strictly GSF guild, correct?
Correct. Red Mist Fighter Wing originally was a different guild, and in the process of SWTOR doing some changes and things like that, some of the players had left the original guild. So with the invent of GSF, I decided to put together a community where all the PvP players that enjoyed space warfare could come, and that's how Red Mist came.
So is this something where you guys have uh like a some sort of team speak or mumble that where people can join and you guys put together operations and queue together? Is that what you guys do?
Raging, you're asking for trade secrets, man. Um, yeah, it is. Originally, when GSF first came about, I kind of approached it from the concept that if we're going to do this, then we should do it right, and there should be wingmen, there should be support players, there should be your aces, and everybody needs to be in constant communication, and that's why I believe now that Red Mist is probably the most successful GSF guild out there. And we use Mumble and TeamSpeak depending on what night it is and who's on and who's not.
And so, I've been over in your guys' thing before, and one of the things that I find to be really interesting about the way you run it is you don't require people to join your guild in order to help them out, right?
That's correct. Originally, when I started GSF, I originally thought that it would be nice to have a community of players that were serious, and as time went by, I was hoping that people would pick up the tag of Red Mist Fighter Wing. And as the time has gone by, we have seen a growth in the membership to Red Mist. Now, the nice thing about it is, even though you're not in the guild, you're still part of the Red Mist squadron. So that when we're facing the pub teams that come on, their pre-mades, they all know it's Red Mist Fighter Wing without a doubt. The majority of the people refer to everybody in the group, in the community, in the squadrons as Red Mist Fighter Wing. So I don't require anybody to join. The only requirements that we have is one, that you're on TeamSpeak or that you're on Mumble, and two, that you're able to take direction and let us fly with you a bit, see how you do, and we'll help you out and we'll help build you to where you need to be if we feel that there's shortcomings. If there's strengths that you demonstrate, we're going to ask you to teach us those strengths so that as a community, Red Mist gets stronger, and as a fighter group, we continue to rule the server.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
that's definitely very good for our server. It's strengthening because we are a PvP server and this is PvP combat. And what you guys are doing, I think,
Unless you're on,
nobody's done in the other PvP aspects.
said unless you're on pub side, then it's very discouraging and they all
Well, Talons,
quit.
you run
Oh yeah,
Mumble
No,
a
but
lot.
no, but
Tell us about
it's true.
why you continued going back to them. You know, what was it about the experience over there that led you to be like, this is who I'm gonna do GSF with?
Well, I mean, it obviously started, like Betty said, with just, a few of us, and then it's grown and grown, and I think that, obviously the GSF community is going to pull together, and you notice people's nameplates and stuff in game, and then you just kind of conjugate, But overall, I think that what's kept us together is just a good camaraderie, teamwork. The fact that we always win is always a good thing too.
Well, I think there's something
But
more
like
to
I
it
said,
that
not
that like I don't know if you guys understand it as much because you deal with it on a daily basis, but one of the things that Anastasia said off the record, well, not off the record sounds funny, like I'm releasing something I shouldn't be releasing, but when we were just talking in vent, candidly, he was talking about how the leadership over there is definitely um, run next. There's no par to it the way, and you've mentioned it before, the way that Betty, um, you said he in the last episode that he's one of the best at what he does in that of putting things
oh yeah,
together
definitely.
and telling people where to go. The wingman thing I think is brilliant because having somebody watching your back is inherently a fighter pilot's wet dream, or that's what they have even in real life and when you're
Right.
doing fighter pilot stuff.
well, but do you ever get
Yeah.
any matches where, I mean, I guess you have a couple of your groups in there, so you're able to lead almost the entire, your entire team. Where I guess when you're coming up against the Republic side, you get like 8 or 12 of your members in there and that are all in vent. Have you ever had that happen? Or
Yeah, we've
Oh yeah.
been very, very fortunate. We actually, the majority of the matches that we do come across with pubs, it's 8-man pre-mades, and we've been fortunate to get at least 10 of our 12 in a match. Um, the thing that Talons was talking about, though, on the leadership aspect of it, it the guild's only as good as the members that belong to it. When you have people like Anastasia and Draculich and Zhao and Imperfect and Perfect and Aku and there's names that I'm not even saying. These guys are so good at what they do, and they give me the ability to sit there and call out targets or call out a battle plan, and we stick to it. However, with that being said, any one of those, Drac or Anastasia, they step up all the time and they'll do it also. And Talons, you've seen that too, where some days they'll just take over. Now, as far as the pre-mades go and going against the pub side, we have run against their best pubs, and honestly, I can say we have not lost when it's R8 against their 12 or what it is. And yesterday we had a very, very good match, and it was funny because a pub player who I won't name came into Mumble, and he actually said some very disparaging remarks to Anastasia, and it really kind of set Anna in a bad mood. So when Anna had left, it was Drakulich, myself, and two others, and we went up against their 8-man. So it was our 4-man against an 8-man pre-made pub, and we killed them. We absolutely annihilated them. So with them saying some of the things they've been saying, and saying that people are not performing is just absolutely baloney.
Hey, let him say it. I think it's hilarious because even when you take somebody who like me in there, so where you have 8 against their 8. I mean, I was in there just with you guys last week, and we came up against one of their pre-mates, and I think all of us were like, oh, finally somebody who's going to give us a little bit of a run for our money. And even with me in there, who's not as like definitely not on par with you guys. I mean, we wiped the floor with them. I think we three capped it, and that was with a team that was put together. Some names that I recognize in there. I mean, why do you think that? Is it the way that you guys work together?
I honestly believe that. It's the way we communicate, it's the way we fly together. Snake, who's another one of our members, he sits there. I know where Snake's going to be no matter what. If I'm going to take A, I know Snake's going to have my back. I also know that if Snake's not there, Drax's going to have my back, and vice versa. And because we know that about each other, the communication is so key. I know with Talon's, normally Talon's role is he'll come in and he'll be wingman on A, and then he'll automatically switch to be a roamer. And when that happens, that just frees up everybody to do their job. And players like Talon's is very, very important in Red Mist Fighter Wing because you got to have that. You have to have communication to get the job done.
Yeah, I gotta say, I mean, the negativity for them just to come in there, and I mean, I can understand they're coming there to give it a little bit of a little playful banter, but yeah, to come in there and actually say some, hurtful or mean things,
It's
or just
jealousy.
try and be like that. Yeah,
Well,
it's
most of the
jealousy. I mean,
time, most of the time it doesn't. I mean, that's I think the only time, and a lot of times like Band-Aid and players from the pub side
Can
come
we
in
just
there
say a name?
often, or
Like,
in.
hopefully, I'll take that out if that
No,
pisses.
no,
Oh,
he,
okay.
no, Band-Aid's awesome, and chat with us. At least I haven't heard from Band-Aid in a while, but he used to come in, mumble all the time, and talk to Anastasia and us, and we used to even queue together with him on pub side, and intentionally get matched up each other because he's a very good GSF pilot, and the pub they have a good team, and it's always nice to see them queuing up because we know it's gonna actually be somewhat of a challenge. It sucks when you're just steamrolling over pug group after pug group. It's nice to get a pre-made from that end too.
But I would
So
say
I
that
mean,
there's
Yeah, there's
probably a little bit of jealousy in there. I mean, Anastasia has been mentioned by name on Otini. We had him on. Um, now we have Betty on.
well,
I mean,
I don't know
you
about
guys
that
are
so
getting
much
the
as
name out there.
it. Well, yeah, but it's frustrating. They're, like I said, they're good pilots. So whether they work together as well as we do, or they, they can beat us, it probably is frustrating to go up against being a good pilot and losing, repeatedly because you're just, you're going up against a better team. I can see how it would be frustrating.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's jealousy so much or just it's just frustrating to get your butt whooped.
And I agree with what Talons is saying there because the majority of the pub players are very, very good and they fly very, very well. They make some strategic mistakes every single game. And after analyzing them and in just watching what they do, we're able to capitalize on it a lot quicker than they are. Band Aid, he's a great guy. He comes by Mumble TeamSpeak all the time, talks up different strategy. He asks for our opinion, and we also talk to him about what they're doing and how we can help them. The last thing we want to see as a GSF guild is for the pubs to stop playing or for people to stop being competitive.
I
We've
agree.
made it a rule now that whenever we're going against brand new free to play players or people that we don't know their names, we typically switch out of our ships and go to an alt ship just to play and give them a chance. Unfortunately, we're still winning, and fortunately, we're still winning. But we're trying to tone it down, not to discourage people, because we don't want to discourage anybody. We want the community to grow.
Well, it becomes less fun for you too if you guys are just steamrolling every match. I mean, it's nice to have somebody give you a little bit of challenge. I would think.
It
Yeah,
is.
definitely.
It is. But at the same time, those matches, I mean, we come up with some funny things. I mean, we were the first ones to do cap shit dentistry, which I thought was absolutely amazing, and we come up with a lot of funny things to do and try to make it fun for ourselves and to give the pubs make them scratch their heads going, what the hell are they doing now? And so it's fun. It can be a fun game.
Yeah,
What was it that you said
yeah. I was gonna
that you do?
ask that.
Oh, cap
I'm not
ship
familiar.
dentistry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kept ship dentistry is simply this. You rush out and you take all three nodes. And then as soon as the score gets to about 300, you rush back to your capital ship. You park inside the hangar of your capital ship and you wait for all the nodes to turn. Then when all the nodes turn, you rush over to the capital side or the pub capital side ship and you try to park inside their hangar without getting yourself blown up in the process. Once you do that, then you run back and you take all the nodes again and you win.
It
Can you
sounds
actually? I
like
thought
you
you get
guys are
blown up
too
when.
good for your own good.
Well, it's funny, but yeah, we did take a lot of hits when we did that. The forums kind of lit us up a little bit. They didn't they didn't appreciate that too much, but at the same time, it was so much fun, and we do other fun things too. In GSF, it's important to give your opponents time to adjust to what you're doing, and we try to do that, and we try to help everybody. I
Well,
don't care
yeah,
if you're
like I
Well,
was gonna
pub
say,
or
I think
anybody,
we've
we'll help you.
spoken you guys up a bunch. Now let's talk about what you guys have done for the community, and I think that's where I became really interested in you guys, and that is the way that you guys try to help out the community, try to help out new players. Why do you feel like this is something? Well, first of all, explain what you kind of do to help out, and second of all, why do you feel like this is important for the GSF community?
What we do for the GSF community is, one, we're active in the forums and we're posting things. Verrain, who's a very, very good pilot, is very active on the forums and he posts a lot of suggestions and gets people. That's one way that we're active. The other way we're active is we encourage all new players to come into Mumble or TeamSpeak, fly with us, let us help you, let us show you, let's answer questions for you. And then if you choose to fly with us or not is entirely up to you, no pressure. But the point is that you're walking away with knowledge that's given freely, and we're not asking for anything in return. When it comes to the forums and what Vrain's doing, Anastasia's doing, Drac is doing, I'm doing, Aku's doing, we're all on the forums trying to encourage people to think about some of the things that need to be done. As far as in-game, when I'm on in-game, I'm always looking at pilots that are out there that we fly with. And if I see somebody that's demonstrating some sort of skill or I see somebody that's so lost they're going in a straight line, I will whisper them after the game and say, hey, look, this is Betty. If you need some help, please ask. We'll answer any questions and we'll do what we can. And I believe all the members are doing that. And I've seen Talons when we have brought new members in. I'll say to a new guy, hey, Talons, do you mind having this guy fly with you? And Talons is like, yeah, no problem. So it's a very communicative relationship inside of Red Mist.
And why do you feel like that's important for the well, even say for the Bastion or the GSF community in general?
Well, one, I feel it's important because of the different directions the game has taken. I still love the ground ops and the raids and things, and I love the challenges that they've come up with. But because people have such diverse opinions and diverse ideas of where they want to play and how and what Star Wars means to them, there has to be a community for each area to go to. For example, when you're on General Chat and you see people asking questions about ops or asking about, where do I go to get this gear or how do I do this or that, there's at least 20 people that will answer. And that's important for that aspect. When it comes to GSF, there hasn't been, up until Red Mist, anybody that was really answering questions. So by us being there and answering questions and walking around with our tags that say Red Mist, or people recognize the nameplate and say, "Oh, I know that guy. He flies with Red Mist." That gives people a, a sense of camaraderie and a sense of belonging that, hey, you know what? If I want to play Star Wars and I just want to play GSF, there's a community here that will support me. If I want to play Star Wars and I just want to do PvE, there's a community that will support me here also. So if there are no communities that do that and support that, then the game, unfortunately, is just going to go a direction that all of us who love Star Wars don't want it to go. So that's why I feel it's so.
You know what? And I commend you for that because there's a lot of people who will speak it up about what needs to be done, and to see somebody actually take up that gauntlet, I think that's great. And I don't see much of it. Like, in regular PvP, you don't see a lot of people taking, others under their wing and saying, this is what needs to be done. I mean, you do see in regular PvP, you see a lot of an elitist attitude towards new people trying to PvP. And what you guys are doing with this, I think you guys are taking up a gauntlet that is really important to make sure that a community in general who's interested in this game, or people who want to see this game progress into more, if there's not a community for it, BioWare's not going to do that. So I love the fact that you guys are doing this, and I think it is really important for the GSF now that it's been fully released to have communities for people to flock to.
I agree, and this whole team, the whole squadron of Red Mist Fighter Wing, these guys are such great guys when you get to talk to them. They're friendly. They'll answer any questions. They're good people. Everybody that belongs to the squadron, whether they're in the guild or they just belong to the squadron, super people. I can't think of nicer people in this game that I have met. That these guys are great, and not one of them's got a vein bone in their body.
That's good. That's always important.
Except for me.
Well, what I think is important about that as well too. I mean, with the other leveling system, ground leveling system, you slowly get to build up. You get to fight some mobs, then you get your companion. With the GSF, especially with people doing it for the first time, you're getting thrown right in there with the top tier players, so it's a bit overwhelming. And then we kind of talked about it last week as well, not knowing what to build, wasting all that time to spend points in just to realize that you bought the wrong upgrade or the wrong tier. So yeah, I see definitely having that community will definitely give people that leap to just trying to figure things out, and which might take them a month or two to give them a good crash course in a day or two and just help them totally be different. I mean, with the advice Talon gave me, it went from night and day to getting 0 kills to 2 or 3 K damage each game to at least be able to pull like 4 or 5 and get maybe pulling 15 to 25,000 damage. So a little advice just goes a long way.
I agree. And the one thing I want people to really understand about GSF is this. It doesn't matter how many kills you get. That's not important. What's important is, are you contributing to your squad? Are you being a good wing? Are you protecting the node? Are you at the end of the match? Have you won the match? That's what's important. So if you fly in, and some of our members, and we've all been in this role, whether it's me, Anna, Drac, Snake, Verain, Purple, I mean, anybody, Talon even, there will be times when we won't have the highest kills, but because we're doing our job, which is protecting the node and winning the match, that's what's important. So a lot of players new come in and say, well, I didn't get any kills, blah, blah, blah. That's not important. What's important is fly with your wingman, win the game, and the kills and the damage, it'll all come.
Concern possibly with deathmatch. It seems sometimes some players will just, treat it as an actual deathmatch and not go for objective base and just try and get, like you were saying, try and rack up a bunch of kills. So I was just worried that possibly, with people getting into the death match, that when it comes back to the objective maps, that they're just going to leave that and to the wind and just go and actually try and keep getting kills and that type of thing for achievements and just to be able to be that top in damage. So, I mean, have you noticed that since we've had it that people are playing the objective matches less?
I haven't really noticed that because the system still randomly generates where you're going to end up for each match. What I've seen in deathmatch is right now the flavor of the month, of course, is the bombers.
Right.
Everybody's on bombers. So as they're playing the bombers, you're seeing a different style of play develop that I feel is going to be very, very important coming into any updates that they're going to be doing in the future because bombers definitely play a role. I was very skeptical about them, but now that I've seen them in action,
Oh yeah, they completely changed the game, in my opinion. I think the Star Wars developers did a great job in enhancing the game with bombers, but not. Yeah, I don't think they completely take over, but they definitely change the way you have to play with both deathmatch and the objective matches. It's changed the way I have to fly. It's changed the way I know a lot of people have had to adjust or tweak their gameplay because of it. And it's also you'll see bombers take top damage a lot of times when playing against people that don't know how to play against them, and even when they are. I mean, it's a very technical ship where if people know how to play against it or know how to counter it, then they can do well against it. But the people that don't will just get destroyed, and they cause people to get like 80k, 90k damage in a match, which is insane.
Well, I guess what advice do you give to our listeners out there to help combat the bombers? Because I haven't had a chance
Uh,
to even play this week, so I'll be going up, against some bombers, and I have
we'll
no
just
clue how to.
easily. I mean, I think the easiest advice, without going into a whole another episode, is to attack what they're dropping before you attack the bombers. So you want to take out their mines and their turrets and everything that they're dropping behind them using their secondary abilities and stuff. That you want to focus target those first and then go after the actual player.
Do you
I
agree, Betty?
agree
That's the.
wholeheartedly. Yeah, I
Uh,
agree. I with talons, I will add this too. With bombers, it's very, very important that you use your max weapon range. I will give that as a clue to help people out. You do not want to get within 1,000 meters of a bomber because you're going to be in for a big.
Yeah, even for I mean with scouts, it's tough. You definitely have to know and pay attention. The mine they can't lay mines as frequently. What I think it's a 20-second cooldown, or somewhere around there. So you can kill them in between mine lanes. So if you take out all the mines and you boost up to them, you can take them out before they can drop another mine. However, it's probably better as a starfighter to be at like max missile range, 700 or 7,000 meters rather than the range of their mines, which is about 4,000 meters.
So
I agree.
that
It
being said, does the bomber change GSF for the good going into this to the new content?
I yes, it does. However, what typically happens is the flavor of the month becomes the flavor of 6 months, and people forget that each fighter has a role to play, whether it's a scout, strike fighter, bomber, or gunship. An effective team uses all four very, very well.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
know what? That's something that I've brought up in the past with GSF, that I honestly feel that the rock, paper, scissors sort of mentality that was lost in PvP when PvP was first released in Star Wars: The Old Republic is actually doing it's actually there in this game. Like I feel like every ship plays a role or can take out something else easier than another one. Even when you're talking about getting to a node and protecting a node, I feel like every ship has the capability that goes beyond what another ship can do, whether it's getting from node to node really quickly or being able to hold a node for long periods of time. I feel like they've done a really great job in this sort of in
Yeah, well,
GSF at the moment.
I've seen like a gunship guarding a node, and he was just a pain in the ass, and and just was dodging like two other players until I got there and we had 3-on-1, and eventually was able to take him out. But so I guess it just depends on the
And
player.
that's why you
It
would have a
seems like with a new
scout that
ship.
can get up on them really quick and keep them on the move. So that's why I'm saying that's where the rock paper scissors sort of mentality comes in. He can hold that node, but if he goes up against a good scout, that scout can come in there and get him off that node, or at least get him on the move. And I'm sorry, in my what I've been used to as a gunship on the move isn't as good as a gunship just sitting there.
Correct. The best thing for bombers at the present time, I honestly believe, is the strike fighter armed with EMPs. And also, as Drac was is talking about last night and helping me rearm my strike fighter, was concussion and EMP is the best combination for a bomber because it takes them out of.
Okay, good idea. I like that. I like getting tips and everything too, because I'm actually that's when I'm going to a fighter next. So as we get into the end portion of this portion of the show, what is your last sort of thoughts on GSF right now, or what are your sort of last thoughts of GSF for the community? Because I know that your guild has been doing a lot for the community, and it's nice to hear from you.
Well, I would say my thoughts on GSF as far as being a fighter pilot in it is that one, I feel that with evasion, people have become fighter pilots have become too confident in it, and I was glad to hear from Big about some of the changes coming forth because it's going to change things. And even on forums, I had sat there and made some comments about evasion.
Boo. Don't change evasion. No, I'm just kidding.
I
Sorry, Betty.
know
Go ahead.
I know you don't want it changed, but Talons, you're a good enough fighter pilot that it's not going to affect you. But a lot of people that count on it as their ability to save them, where they're flying in straight lines, they don't worry about going roller coaster patterns or S turns or loops. They're going to get annihilated when evasion changes because quite frankly, it needs to change. There has been issues with it. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to the new ships coming out for GSF. I think are going to be huge. This new stealth fighter or scout is going to be huge. I can hardly wait for that one. As far as the community goes, I'd like to see some more players jump in. I'd like to see eventually, and I don't think it's going to happen, but it'd be on a wish list raging, is if we could see them do cross servers because right now I am gunning for some of these other servers that think they're the top. I want to put them up against Red Wing, boy.
Well, that's a
Red
good
Mist is going to
reason.
show them something.
That's a different reason. I mean, like we've probably every podcast have mentioned cross server queues, but I think that's a different reason that one than we've talked about, and that's a good reason. And I agree. I think it would be cool to challenge
Starts
other
putting out some
servers.
server props. You guys may have some
Right.
PvE, but we've got the GSF top. Or you guys may have regular PvP, but don't come at us on Bastion with your GSF teams. I think I completely
You know,
agree with.
and just one other point, I actually jumped on a forum for one of the other servers, and they were talking about their pilots and how the imp pilots aren't any good, and the pub pilots are the best, and vice versa. And we had a spirited discussion in forums, professional but spirited. I definitely want to see some of their fighters.
Cool. Yeah, I think that that
Yeah.
is a great topic to bring up, and we've brought it up in the past, the ability that we want to see some cross-server stuff going on. Um, I'd like to say thank you to you, and I'm hoping that you stay on with the rest of the show. But thank you for what you've done for the Bastion community with GSF. It is appreciated, and I hope I'm not putting you out there. But if anybody has any questions, it sounds like you can type in on the Imperial side of the Bastion, Red Mist, into your who portion and see who's on in the guild and just ask some questions. And it sounds like the people over there will be more than happy to at least relay some information. If not that way, it sounds like the forums are abuzz with Red Mist and that they would be more than happy to help you on. It's the Bastion GSF forums, or is it just the Bastions?
It's actually the community forums,
Oh, okay.
the GSF community forum.
Okay, so GSF community forums, they're on there and they will be more than happy to answer questions and you guys can get in on the conversation. And if you're the best, you can just go in there and tell Dracolich that he is not the best. Um, and I might just go in there and every time he kill steals, I'm gonna put a tack up.
I,
No,
You
I
know,
was
I
actually
had to
gonna.
say it. I had to
Well,
say it.
you could have
I
you could run
figured
out
you
of tag.
did. I just want to say this, so to all the boys in of Red Mist Fighter Wing, you guys are doing excellent. If I didn't say your name, I apologize. You guys are the best, and I'm so honored to fly with you. Thank you.
No, Dracolich messaged me in game the other day, and he's like, "You," and I'm like, "I'm sorry, dude. It's just giving you a hard time because you're one of the best, and when you're the best, you have to expect people to give you a hard time." But it's good to have players like him, Anastasia, you, and the rest of your guild. I'm sorry, those are the only like three I know. No, I know a bunch more. Actually, Purple.
Well,
It's
yeah,
just it's
Purple, you
nice
know,
to
Zal.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's nice to have those names. It's nice to say I'm on the Bastion where these people play, and we are the best, if not one of the best, um, or one of the best, not if not the best GSF out there.
I think he's also trying to say if we offended anyone else, we're sorry.
Yeah, right.
So
Bring it because you can come
That
in
too,
on a
yeah.
level one and you can make up your fighter wings, and you can bring it. It doesn't take long, to remake it. So if it
We
if
will
it's
take
that
all
intense, come on
challengers.
over.
I agree.
yeah,
We will take all challenges.
what if we just went to each server and started a level 1 and then just pwned them for like a week and then just left, and then you can talk crap on the forums.
These
I
guys.
agree. You know,
uh,
Talons, that's a good idea.
we
We
should
should
do
take
that.
that
We
one
should totally do that.
offline. Yeah. Let's
Say
take it
like
offline. We'll
just eight
discuss
of
how to
us
do
or
it.
so just go.
All right, so we're going to be
Um,
moving on to yellow text with before it gets too crazy on this end. I mean, it sounds like they're making a coup d'état, like they're taking down the best of every
we're gonna
server.
go
Like there's some
invade.
craziness
We're
going
gonna
on.
The Galactic Starfighters are gonna invade every server now.
Coming
The
to a
Red Mist Fighter
Yes.
universe
Wing.
slash server near you. All right, Ignitia, I know you got some yellow text for us this week. Some good stuff, man. I'm love to hear your some thoughts on it. So what do you got for us?
Well, I got some bad news, first of many, but I doubt anybody's been really seeing this. But as of right now, it's official that Darth Hater, the server that used to bring, or the net site that used to bring us all the information, is finally done. They shut down. So
Oh,
Yeah,
I
they
used
still had
to
some
use
good
that
info.
website a lot.
Yeah, I mean, they still had some good info up there for some of the older content and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's sad to see it go.
um, sec uh, new double XP weekend is coming up on the March 14th and 17th. For all those that still desperately trying to hit 55 as fast as possible, that's a good time to do it. And speaking of double XP weekends, just my personal take on it. Usually when they have that, means something big is coming behind it.
That is
I agree
true.
with that.
Can't wait to
And if
see
you
what's
plan on
coming.
leveling some alts, make sure to snatch up some XP boost now before they skyrocket.
Yeah. It's a
Big
good thing.
uh, On the community forums, Chris Schmidt brought up a factor of missiles or drone missiles still locking on players that are using their defensive maneuvers like color guard turns and evasion and all that stuff. And they're going to fix that in the upcoming patch, which comes out this Monday. 2.5a is coming out this Monday. Cantina, the Cantina tour is coming into Atlanta. I don't know. That happens on the 28th at the Tabernacle from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And the big news of the week is, well, they put out a producer's roadmap for the for 2014. February 4th, that already happened. That's game update 2.
Yeah.
But on April 8th, game update 2.7 is coming out with 2 new flashpoints on Tython and Korriban, where the Empire and confront each other, directly initiating a new storyline that will span updates across the entire year with its galaxy-shaking finale.
Oh,
So
I did not actually read that part. I mean, this is something we've talked about in this podcast, right? Where we wanted them to use older places or planets that seem to be going unused. Wow, this could be big. I mean, bringing it back
Could
Well,
be
and
into
big.
yeah,
it also hints the something else we talked about, which is doing more Empire versus Republic
yeah.
flashpoints and operations where you're actually fighting against the Republic instead of fighting against Malgus. You know.
I'm really excited for this. I mean,
Talon,
this is really cool in my opinion. What it speaks to.
Yes, Betty.
What was
T-
that, Betty?
Talon, do you smell cap ship invasion? We
hope so.
hope we hope it's coming
I hope
That
so.
for
would be sick.
GSF. Oh my goodness.
Could you
or just
imagine
even ground
GSF
game.
going in and actually you'd have to have a group like your guys going in, talking it up and like taking out some of the satellites or something around it or some of the turrets around it and then going in. Oh, that sounds really cool.
For us
Yeah.
PvE guys, Nightmare Mode Dread Fortress and a new tier of gear will be coming out on that one. For the PvPers, new Hutball map. Based on what they were saying, it's going to be more vertical than it is horizontal, so that's going to be interesting. And I
Oh,
was
that
told
sounds
quite
really
challenging at the
interesting.
same.
Yeah, because the falling and stuff like that. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah. And for you, Betty, there's always good news for GSF. There's new Galactic Starfighter Battle Zone. I don't know what it is.
And
Maybe
that's not
capture the
too
flag. I
far
think that's what they
away.
were talking.
I mean, that's what, June
There's
10th?
actually 2 new maps coming out. 2 new ones.
Yeah. On June 10th, Game Update 2.8 is going to be coming out with guarantees on new ships and an entirely new ship role for Galactic Starfighter, which Betty pretty much gave spoilers on that. I believe it's a Stealth Scout or some shit.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Stealth
I
strike
was going to
fighter.
ask you, what do you think that that's going to do for the game come June 10th? I mean, is that going to just
Well, with
flip GSF on its side?
oh yeah, 100% because with the new maps coming out, the stealth strike fighter is going to change everything again. Whether it minimizes your signature or your ship is actually stealth is what needs to still be determined. But it
So
is going to
here's
change
the
the game
thing.
again.
Are you a big lore buff with Star Wars: The Old Republic, or not, or just Star Wars in general?
I am. I will tell you this. The first time I ever saw Star Wars was 1977 in Hong Kong.
Wow,
So I have been a Star Wars fan my entire life.
that's awesome. So,
You got maybe.
what about have you heard of the Stealth X's, which are the X-wings that the Jedis fly in the extended universe?
That the twins flew. Yes,
Yes.
I am.
I think that this could be really cool because it brings it's definitely very lore friendly with the Jedis keeping track of each other inside the ships. I think this is really cool. And every time I hear
I,
something like that that reminds me of lore, it just the little kid inside of me is just gets extremely happy.
me
Oh,
too. Me too.
to interject, just to finish this off,
Oh, you're good.
for those who watched the prediction show, big ups to Ignitia for making his prediction.
You have to be
There
right
will
every
be
now
an
and then.
expansion. Yeah, there is going to be an expansion this year. Expect to see 2 digital expansions in 2014, just like you did last year, with one similar to being like Galactic Starfighter in scope, which is still what I consider a bona fide patch, and one more closely resembling Rise of the Hutt Cartel. So we're going to get more levels, more places, more all that good fun stuff, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Hey, Ignitia, now that
And
me and
that is the
you
yellow
on the
tech.
preparation on that episode, right? Me and you, we've been right so far, and I've just noticed that I'm not 100% sure that Talons are big have been proven right yet, and I would just like to point that out. Um, sorry, we can
It's
move
only
on
been one
before.
month. It's
You
only been
guys
one
don't know
month.
you don't know you're right yet. I know. We could see PvE GSF this year.
I see with yeah, and with GSF blowing up, I could see them integrating Twitch in there as well. So
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That would be really cool. I think that
Oh,
that's one of those
speaking
things
of
that
Twitch,
coming up soon.
does Betty, what about fraps in some of our fights and putting them on YouTube or anything? Have you ever thought about doing that?
Actually, I have. Drac mentioned last night that he has a Twitch account and he films a lot of the fights. So actually, he's the one we should probably get involved in that.
Hey, so this is also
That'd be cool.
our last topic tonight, and I'm really interested on your aspect of it too, because it sounds like you guys are already starting to make up your own little mini games and stuff like that. And that is so as we notice in this roadmap that we just talked about, we're getting a nightmare mode, and then we're not seeing much content PvE side. Um, other than the flashpoints that are coming in that'll be fun and stuff like that. Uh, but for people like us who are more PvE orientated, what what is there to do more? And it got me to thinking, especially with a post that was on Reddit about, it didn't, and I commented on it in a very sarcastic way about saying somebody in an article said we didn't get a lot of content, stuff like that, and so it got me to thinking, well, over the next couple months, there's not that much coming out PvE wise. So what can PvE orientated people do? And so I'll start it off. I found, for guilds like us who didn't complete TFB, SNV, and SNV Nightmare mode, I feel like this is once everything's on farm, which, we're very close to having everything on farm for the content that's out right now, that it would be a good idea to start going up and sweeping up the old stuff that we sort of were unable to do. And that's one thing I would think as a guild, keeping people involved in your guild and keeping them coming back for more. How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, I agree. That'd be cool.
I think
Yeah,
it's
and
always
for
in.
oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say for guilds that already cleared all that content, there's other things in the game, like PvP and GSF and leveling alts. There's a lot more. Just saying.
well, and there's some people that taking little challenges. One of the posts I saw on Reddit this week was people doing 3-man and 2-man on DF story mode.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Like in the first. So it's a way to go back and entertain yourself and see how well you are, and I'm sure it helps you learn your class a little bit more. I mean, if you're sitting there being the only healer and taking some good damage, and it's going to help you with your energy management and have some fun doing it as well. So there's definitely a lot of things out there to do.
Yeah, I think, and
I
just
would encourage people to remember why they started playing the game. I think that's where MMOs lose it sometimes. We play Star Wars because we love the lore, we love what it represents, we love the good versus evil, the classic story. We all love that. We love the fact that we can be very good people in real life, but we're going to play evil characters because that's something that we don't get to experience. But what makes us keep coming back time in and time out is the fact that we get to play with our friends that share the same love of the game that we do. For people that get lost and say there's not enough PvE content, you've got your buds on there, whether they're male or female. You guys can go out and do so many crazy things and try different things. That's what we did. That's how we discovered Cap Ship Dentistry.
Yeah.
We were just having a good time and we wanted to hang out with our friends. So all PvE players, don't lose sight of that.
No, and I completely agree.
Well, yeah, I mean, another thing as well is, I mean, not just playing with your friends, but just playing with a community that, shares the same point of view. It's like, the first time we met each other, we was, doing some random raid, and, people of like minds and share the same stuff, get together, and you can still have fun with them. Some random people at first, even if they're not your friends. I've even been in many other random, pickup groups and just had a blast and, hung out all night, even after raid, just chatting with the people. And so, yeah, I mean, the Star Wars community has just been great overall.
Start streaming your stuff. I mean, if you're that good to where it's boring for you, start streaming it and helping other people out. I mean, just like Bettyknight does with the GSF community, there's a lot of room for help in the PvE side of things in this game. I think that is one of those things. Or hey, start a podcast. It keeps me going. Trying to figure out things, just new topics to talk about. I mean, why not? If you're into it,
Yeah, if you want,
start it up. There's multiple things even in and outside a game that you can do in order to keep your guild interested.
yeah, and feel free to also post it in the comments if you're trying to start a Twitch stream and get some followers. Feel free to post a link in our comments on our 42gaming.com.
Yeah, and then we'll talk about you next week and try to get the community, because that's what we're here for. We're trying to get the community sort of rolling, trying to figure out your own stuff. Try to make everybody as interested in this game as possible, because um, that's how we're going to get the new content that we all desire to come out for this game. So, hey, you know what, Betty? It was a blast having you on tonight. Probably you're just really well spoken. I love what you're doing for this game. You're an inspiration for the PvE and the ground PvP side of things, and we appreciate what your guild does for our Bastion community. No,
Thank you
but
guys very
truthfully,
much.
I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, I've had fun having you on. Look forward to either killing people with you or getting killed by you guys. Either way, I always have a blast with GSF.
Thanks, guys. And you
I,
know what? On behalf of Red Mist Fighter Wing, we want to extend to you, especially Ignitia, Rondo, Big, you'll always be part of the squad, whether you're used for target practice or you're helping us out. You're always welcome.
Sounds good, buddy.
you see, this is the time where Ignitia usually gets really, really angry. But I'm going to hold off on that
No,
because
no,
I'll
no.
just
I
kill
got it.
myself
I got it.
personally into a stone every time.
I got it, Ignitia. Hey, and it was great having everybody watching us tonight. Remember, come back next week. All you GSFers out there, remember to keep blowing yourself. All you PvPers, if it's red, it's dead. And for all you PvEers, just enjoy the content.
Don't
We got
stand
some
red
great
sword.
content out there. And to answer Talon's question last week at the end, yes, I did just tell you guys to blow yourselves. Have a great night.
Take care.
Wow.